would have thought that we'd live in an era where the flagship from BMW on the one hand would be one giant SUV and on the other a really large coupe or convertible like this one. Yes, it's not just the 7 Series anymore, folks. It is a new range of cars that's defining what sits at the top end of BMW's overall portfolio. This car is the very latest 8 Series. The all-new BMW 8 Series appeared in its coupe avatar in the middle of 2018, and a few months down the line, it's time for the family to grow. BMW has used the 8 Series name in the 1980s and 90s, but this cannot really be called a successor to that car. Still, if you want to, call it a second generation. The 8 Series convertible has also now arrived, and a 4-door Gran Coupé body style will complete the family when it gets here by mid-2019. But let's stay focused on that new convertible, shall we? The 8 Series effectively replaces the previous 6 Series family, but is being positioned as more premium and sporty. This is largely true, as you shall soon find out. The 8 Series convertible is 4,851mm long with a 2,822mm wheelbase. It is 1902mm wide and 1345mm high. That makes it near identical in dimensions to the previous 6 convertible. Now, it's a tad wider, but it is shorter in height and length, as well as the wheelbase. But it is obviously more luxurious and better appointed and looks way sexier too. The car looks great, to be honest. Low slung form, great proportions, very obvious width, especially in how the rear end has been styled with those wraparound recessed tail lights. The hood and flanks are very muscular, and there are a couple of prominent character lines that emphasize the car's length along the side. The grille is kind of large, yet very well executed. The headlights are the slimmest in BMW's lineup, and they can be upgraded to laser light tech if you pay more. Material quality, equipment, and yes, even the gadgets are a step up for sure. Virtual cluster, head-up display, bigger touchscreen with the latest iDrive 7.0, and the latest in connectivity and sound systems. Harman Kardon is standard, Bowers & Wilkins Diamond Surround is an option. The start-stop button, gear shifter and iDrive controller are finished in glass like we saw on the X5 and X7, but this is the first non-X model to get what BMW calls crafted clarity. The dash and door panels are all wrapped in leather. The car certainly exudes quality and class. There's a wind deflector that comes standard, which can be popped on or off the rear seats. The roof folds up or down in just 15 seconds and can be operated at up to 50 km per hour. The previous 6 convertible did it in 19 seconds and only up to 40 km per hour for what it's worth. While the car is not a 7 Series based model, it does share its drivetrains. The M850i xDrive has the 520 bhp V8 petrol, and there is also a 3-litre inline-6 diesel that powers the 840d xDrive. Now BMW could bring us the convertible as a direct import, very small number of units, and there could be a few takers for it. But you know what? They'd also have to import in this wonderful clean air and this beautiful blue sky, which is why it's only going to be the hardtop that comes to us, and more likely than not the coupe, but the Gran Coupé. Yes, it is likely we'll only get the 8 Series Gran Coupé, but that car will only be revealed around June or July this year. So you might wonder why I am testing the convertible then. Well, 3 reasons why. First, because the engines we'll get will be shared across body styles and so will be the same. Second, it's a chance to see where BMW has taken the new 8 Series family. After all, we never did drive the coupe as yet. And third, a different body style. A lot of the dynamics, performance and design elements will be similar. The new model offensive from BMW has been almost non-stop, and so it's been one drive after the other every few months, but I have to tell you that it's really comforting and exciting and reassuring and extremely satisfying, the M850i. And so that part, I have to say, has been the big takeaway for me. Certainly what's kept a smile on my face. The car uses BMW's latest V8 petrol motor with 68 bhp more power than its predecessor, and peak torque is also bumped up by a massive 100 Nm all the way to 750 Newton meters. 2 twin-scroll turbos on this V8 engine, by the way, and the first thing that strikes you when you start the engine and begin your drive is how quickly the power reaches the wheels. So despite its size, this thing can move. BMW has certainly made a huge effort to really come back to the center of what the brand was always all about. Seemed to have lost its way a few years ago, but like I said, come straight back full and center to that spot, and that is making cars that are just great to drive. The good part though is that they don't knock you around, they're not that stiff anymore, and so while you get all the dynamics that you want, you still get a fair amount of comfort and a sense of luxury, especially for a car like this. That is important. So yes, the 8 Series betters the performance that was seen on the previous 6 by miles. The car belies its size and is quick, adept and very happy to be pushed through sharp corners, and yet maintains superb control. The handling on this car is easily right up there with the very best. And the steering is on point. The 8 Series gets active steering and all-wheel drive or xDrive as standard. The car's athleticism comes from there too. Active steering means the rear wheels also turn, and that gives you a sense of driving a more compact car. The all-wheel drive system works well, as does the 8-speed Steptronic gearbox. Now that is common to both engine types. Now it's amazing kind of aerodynamics that engineers these days have been able to achieve. The car's acoustic levels inside, even with the top down, are amazing. You can hear the music really well, you can talk to the person next to you, take a phone call on the system as well, and in my case, not mess up your hair way too much. That's important. The car is fun to drive for sure and can take a fair amount of punishment, and that leads me to wonder, no, salivate at the prospect of the M8 that is also expected later this year. Yes, more so than the Gran Coupé, even though from a market point of view, I should care about that more. On the downside, the cabin does feel a touch cramped, especially at the back, but in every other aspect, the car certainly impresses. And that is why the prospect of India getting the longer wheelbase 4-door Gran Coupé then really works. Expect that to only happen though around the end of this year, or perhaps in February 2020.